Mr. Transformers 96 here, so in the video where I'm going to be talking about some newly shown Hot Toys figures that are Avengers Endgame styled. This is for the Hot Toys kind of event that they're doing featuring the Avengers Endgame line. Some new figures have been shown at this event, and other figures that have just been put on pre-order on out here so we can see them in person too. So there is a decent amount to talk about. I'm not going to talk about some of the stuff that we've already seen. I'm just going to mainly focus on the new things here. But here's their little collection of Endgame figures at the moment. I believe two of these are not specifically Endgame. The Captain Marvel, I've gone and looked at the figure on display and actual production images of the Captain Marvel Hot Toys figure from Captain Marvel, and it looks like the same figure, which makes sense to me. It would be really weird if they made a Captain Marvel figure and then a couple months later they made another one, considering I don't think her costume really changes. She might have some more gold on her shoulders, but for the most part her costume really doesn't change, personally, I'm okay with this, I don't really think it's necessary to do another version. And then as far as Ant-Man's concerned, it's hard for me to tell, to be honest. That kind of looks like the Ant-Man and the Wasp Ant-Man, but there does seem to be some more detail in the ab section, so that might be a new Ant-Man. Nobody's really talking about it, though, so it leads me to believe that it is just an Ant-Man and Wasp Ant-Man. But yeah, of course we have the Hawkeye, Thanos, Iron Man, Nebula, and War Machine that are shown here on pre-order. There are two new figures here that we do not have the official images for, and this is the first time that we're seeing them, basically. So let's get started. First, I want to talk about I'll start with Rocket. So here's Rocket Raccoon. Really liking this new design for his suit. It's very comics accurate, which I think is really cool, and I'm a big fan of it. He seems to change his costume like significantly between each movie. We've got the orange, we've got a red, a blue, and now we have this kind of mixed one, which is very comics accurate, and he's got the goggles and everything. I think it looks great. His head sculpt is identical, it seems, to the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 as well as Infinity War head. It doesn't look like it's different at all. I know a lot of people are kind of clamoring for a new head sculpt. To be honest, for me personally, the only Rocket that I have is the original Rocket in the orange suit, and he's got just the regular face sculpt. He's not screaming or anything. It's the only Rocket to have a regular head sculpt. And a non-screaming one, and I do like that head sculpt, but the screaming one is the one that I prefer, I think, just because I enjoy the kind of emotion of it, and it's a good head sculpt, so it's not one that's like in desperate need of redoing, but I will say that it is getting old just kind of seeing the same head sculpt over and over, but I do like the standard and then the screaming one that they do have. They're both very good head sculpts. The costume itself looks great, really do like it. As you can see, his feet look really good too. If I just move this out of the way for a second, I really do like the way that it looks like the feet articulate. Looks like you have some nice range there, and I kind of like the more rounded feet rather than the pointier ones that we've been getting. So overall, I do think that the feet look pretty good, and just in general, it's a great looking Rocket. Like, out of all the Rocket Raccoons, this would be the best one to get in my opinion, just because it's so comics accurate. It's my favorite costume for Rocket in any of the movies for sure, and it just looks really good. Now, I didn't think about this, but Toys 210 actually mentioned this, that they should release that Rocket in a 2-pack with the new War Machine, not the one that they just shown that they put on pre-order, but the more interesting, bulkier War Machine, which is going to be in the movie. We do see him, in a quick shot here with Rocket in the movie. It would be really cool if they did release those two in a 2-pack, and those are like two figures that are on my maybe list. There's a couple like must-haves for Endgame for me, and then there's a couple maybes, and Rocket Raccoon in this new suit, and the bulky War Machine are my two like maybes of the series. So it would be really cool if they did a 2-pack together, and maybe did it for a decent price, being that you bought them both together. That would be quite neat. But I think that's probably the best way to sell him, because Rocket, like the original Rocket was a decent price. He was like $150, and then the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 Rocket was like $200, which was crazy. And then the Infinity War one they only released in a 2-pack with Groot, which was a bit overpriced. It made Rocket not too expensive if you bought the 2-pack. However, Groot was just so overpriced to begin with that it didn't really even out. So it's kind of like, I have no idea what they're going to price Rocket as, and I have no idea how they're going to release him. He's the real wild card, I will say. But I think the idea of releasing him with the bulky War Machine would be a really cool idea, actually. And then the other like new figure that they did show is Captain America. This is one of the must-haves on my list. Now, I like a lot about it. There is some issues that I have with it, though. The main issue is the face sculpt. The face sculpt I don't think is great. They've done so many Captain America head sculpts, and this is quite possibly going to be the last Captain America Hot Toys figure that they do without like doing some like DX Ultimate Captain America in a couple of years or something like that. But for like a new movie, this is probably going to be the last Captain America. So I would like a new head sculpt, you know, like one final go at a perfect Chris Evans likeness as Captain America. That would be really cool. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they did that. However, without seeing the official images and without seeing what he comes with, I can't say that for sure, because quite possibly they could just be kind of reusing this Civil War Captain America head sculpt, and then they're going to do one unhelmeted that's a totally new sculpt, and I would be totally down for that. That would be completely fine for me. I want a new head sculpt with this guy. Now, I do not have the Civil War Captain America head sculpt, or Captain America figure, so this would be a new head sculpt for me personally. However, it's not one that's perfect. Like, it's good. It certainly is a good head sculpt, but it's not a perfect one in my opinion. There's room for improvement here, and if there's room for improvement, I think that they should definitely go for it, especially since it's not like, well, they just reused it for this one, but next year for Captain America 4, you know, they'll give us the proper head sculpt. I think there's a good chance he's going to die in this movie, or at least kind of retire as the character, and therefore, this is the last go, so I would have definitely liked to see them try a really good head sculpt. But again, you never know. Maybe they did. Maybe they're just saving it for the actual reveal of the figure, and he's just going to have a kick-ass Steve Rogers head sculpt without the helmet. That would be fantastic. But whether he comes with that or not, one thing that I definitely want is the interchangeable mouth plate with his more aggressive, angry face. I really do like that. It would be really cool if it was battle damage too. It had some blood on it. That would be pretty awesome as well. The suit itself looks really nice. I do like the kind of scaling texture throughout, the kind of chainmetal look throughout the chest and the shoulders. I think it's very cool. Kind of harkens back to a more classic look for Captain America, similar to the way that the Iron Man suit harkens back to his classic look. And overall, his suit looks very nice. It looks like they really bulked up the arms quite a bit. And from what I can tell, just based on how bulky the arms are, I would guess that the articulation at the elbow is going to be a hinge swivel rather than a double hinge, just because it looks like it's really bulky. So overall, it looks really cool. What's nice is that they do have this like battle damage shield on display with him. There's not like a really great picture of that shield. You know, either you get the one that's clear but from an angle, or you get the one that's straight on that's blurry. So it's hard to get a good look at that shield, but it looks nice from what I can see. I do like the level of battle damage. It's a little different than your average Captain America shield battle damage, so I think that looks pretty neat. Of course, I hope that he comes with a standard shield as well that's nice and clean and shiny. But overall, it's looking nice. But that's the thing. Like, this is either an okay figure or it's a fantastic figure based on if we get a secondary head sculpt. That's really gonna be what is my decision if they kind of drop the ball on this one or they did a great job, you know. Really hoping for just an awesome new head sculpt for Captain America, and albeit even if they didn't do it with a helmet version, that doesn't mean they didn't do it altogether. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing that. And the same can be said about Rocket. You know, maybe they're just going to release that angry head sculpt as the secondary head, and the first head is one that's newly developed, and they're just kind of waiting to show that those newly developed ones. But yeah, overall, this Captain America looks great. I do plan to get him. It's going to depend a little bit on price, and if he comes with that secondary head sculpt. If he comes with the secondary head sculpt, I am absolutely going to get this figure. If not, and if he's just like way overpriced, you know, I'd think about it, but I do still plan to get him in general. As far as Rocket and the possible bulky War Machine, those are both hard maybes for me. I'm really going to have to see. I'm going to have to watch the movie and see how much Rocket is in this new suit and how much War Machine is in this new suit, as well as just kind of what the characters do. I don't really think that Rocket's going to die in this movie at all. I would be shocked if that happens. So Rocket, you know, there'll always be more Hot Toys of Rocket. War Machine, I'm pretty sure War Machine's going to die. I don't really see any further that they can take that character. I don't know if Don Cheadle wants to play the character anymore either. It seems like he's kind of had his run. They've never done anything fantastic with the character, so you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to just take him out. But yeah, overall, really excited about these new Endgame figures shown. I wish for this event they showed at least like one more figure, because yeah, like maybe Thor or something. I mean, who knows? Maybe they're not doing another Thor, because I believe Thor doesn't really change his look much from Infinity War, from what I can see. His hair might grow out a little bit more, but it would have been nice if they showed Black Widow here. I think a lot of people are anticipating a new Black Widow figure, especially with her newly her new kind of hairstyle, which I actually like. I kind of like that braid that fades into the blonde at the tip of the braid, but then she's got her normal redhead look again. I think she actually looks really cool. So I would have liked to see Black Widow here. But yeah, other than that, the only other characters that they can do is the new Hulk. They're probably waiting to show that new Hulk because not many people have shown Hulk in his new kind of bodysuit. Really, Funko is the only company that have shown that. So a new Hulk, the new War Machine, Black Widow, Thor. Those are definitely going to be the ones that are coming up, I think. And then we'll see if we get any of these characters in their kind of white suits. I think that would be really cool, actually. We'll have to see though. But yeah, overall, very much looking forward to Captain America and Rocket going on pre-order and to see kind of how they're sold. I would imagine that Captain America is going to go on pre-order next week, if I had to guess, just based on the rate that they're releasing these. Captain America seems like the next one to go, if I had to guess. So I'm very much looking forward to him. But yeah, overall, let me know what you guys think of these new figures shown at the Hot Toys event for Avengers Endgame, and thanks so much for watching.